good a team as you're going to find out there in Europe at the moment. You know, defensively they're excellent, they're a threat going forward, and they're going to be there or thereabouts. We have to have a bit more belief in what we've got, and we will do. We'll keep working away at it and bashing away at it and try and get the balance right.
The players are playing with a real focus and concentration. A big part of defending as a team is concentration and not being lax for moments, and I'm happy with how the players are doing that. We had, you know, a bit of a change today. Thiago isn't in, Tony Rudiger comes in, we keep a clean sheet. We need the squad, we need everybody. This is a gruelling season, as everyone keeps talking about recently, and it's good for team confidence that we get another clean sheet.
Tell us about your run of form at the moment.
Yeah, obviously for me to be back in the team is obviously an honour. You know, I've played for this club since the age of 7, so I've always wanted to, you know, be the number 9 up front, and you know, I've been given my chance, and hopefully I just keep scoring.
Well, let's start with Tammy. And since the start of last season, Abraham has scored 23 goals, which is 11 more than any other Chelsea player. And I think in the summer, with all the new signings, a lot of people thought perhaps that he might be sidelined. Has he made himself in a position where he cannot be overlooked?
I think with today's performance, he did. Some of the movement I saw in against Sheffield United wasn't as great as it was today, because his movement today was fantastic. And then obviously in the end, the way he took his goal. But what I like about Tammy is the way that he's now getting on the shoulder. He's getting on the shoulder, getting in front of him, getting his body in places where this is the kind of stuff that Giroud does. I think Kovacic can do a little bit better with that. This is the one I like. He gets in a position where the defender's looking, now he's gone. Great ball in. Unlucky not to score that. Fantastic. This is the one where I'd like him to have done a little bit more in respects of the movement for the defender, because he wants to move the defender away from that spot there. Defender's not looking at him. He should attack the back of him to then get into the front, because now he's taking the defender in towards the goal. So now the defender doesn't have to move from there. He can just go towards that space, and that's Tammy's space. That's what he needs to do. Attack the back, hit the front. But this is where Timo Werner was brilliant today, done this. But like Tammy, once you you've got to watch your arm there, Tam. You get called offside with that now, but like that was a great finish. That's what he's going to need to do, because they do make the chances, and they just need to take them.
Got to continue his form, like he did at the start of last season. He was electric. Keep it going all season. Al, sorry, got to raise the subject of Newcastle. Pretty abject performance. Slightly negative, I would say. Is this coming from the manager? Is it the players' fault? What is it?
Bit of both. The manager has to take responsibility, because he sent the players out and they were very negative. There were nowhere near enough ideas going forward. But also players have to take responsibility. They have to be brave in possession. They have to work harder and closing people down. Lascelles, as a captain and as a leader, has got to stop demanding protection from the midfielders in front of him. And Alan Saint-Maximin, he hasn't broken sweat since signing his new 6-year contract. So it's a bit of both, but not near enough. Why can't that pass go forward? Why does it have to be negative and go back or sideways? Stop going forward, and then you're inviting pressure onto yourselves. Yes, they're all defending, but same thing again, backwards, looking backwards again. Nowhere near enough options going forward, or prepared to pass forward and commit bodies forward. Free kick here in a decent position, just look what happens. All right, they don't get anywhere, but it's negative. The first thought is going backwards. You're never going to score enough goals by playing this way. And all of a sudden, from a free kick, that ends up back at the goalkeeper, and a big punt forward. Ball down the line, all right, they're running forward, but what happens if he gets that? There's no one within 30 or 40 yards of him. It's a hopeful ball down the line, and he's not getting anywhere near that. Second half, it was a little bit better. They created 1 or 2 chances, but the same thing again. This pass has to go forward. The run's there. They've got men forward on this occasion, but chooses not to for whatever reason, and that's easy. And too many times this season, that's Newcastle. Too negative and not going to score goals. And that's the average positions of the forwards. Look at that. Hardly any at times in the box.
OK, one question before we move on to both of you. Chelsea got to be title contenders, haven't they?
Yes. I'd say. If they could be a lot more ruthless with their finishing, absolutely, yeah.
OK.
It's a decent service you're getting as well, I should think, from these players.
Yeah, you know, we knew we're quick on counter-attack, so I had to get myself forward, and, you know, I was tired, but I had to stay in control and, you know, pass it through the keeper, and that's what I've done, and, you know, killed the game off, thankfully.
You say you can't have it all your own way, but you pretty much did in the first half. It was around 80% possession, but you maximised that and killed the game off.
Yeah, I think we settled into that. I thought the first 20 minutes we were great because we had control and we had penetration. We had people running in behind. We were getting the side and making crosses. I think there's sometimes a danger of that sort of control that becomes comfort, which is dangerous. And we then turned it over a couple of times, so that was the message at half-time. They came out, to be fair, more positive in the second half, and I always felt that the real danger moments for us could be on transition and counter-attack, because Timo showed that 2 or 3 times in the first half, and then obviously he shows that for Tammy's goal.
We got off to an awful start. To concede after 10 minutes is it makes it even more difficult than it already is. But you're right, first half in particular, maybe we were a bit too passive. Second half was much better, but obviously then you open yourself up a bit and you chase the game higher up the pitch, and unfortunately to pick you off. And I just thought the best spell in the game was unfortunately when we conceded the second one.
Win for Chelsea sets up the most monumental London derby next week. Chelsea-Tottenham game is going to be huge. And Chelsea, your old club, won that, frankly, at a canter, didn't they? Could have been a lot more than 2. I know Newcastle had a couple of chances at the end, but Chelsea won that very comfortably.
Yeah, very. When I watched the game, I was quite surprised. Newcastle being at home, you expect them to be, even though they're dropping deep, you expect them to be a little bit more aggressive and get tighter to people, but it wasn't to be, and Chelsea were just getting chances after chances, especially early on in the game.
Sort your feet out. That's what you'd be saying to your defenders, wouldn't you? Fernandez, his body shape's all wrong when this comes in, isn't it?
Yeah, his body shape's wrong. He can't sort his feet out. He tries to clear it with the wrong foot as well. In some regards, it'd be best leaving it, because the way he tries to clear it, he goes completely with the wrong foot. And I mean, it is such poor defending. I mean, at first I thought, oh, was it a foul? But when you watch it from this angle, look, he tries to clear it with, look, his right foot across his body. It's poor, really poor defending. Funny, it's quite funny, it's quite comical.
He almost looks like he's going to kick it with his left and then changes his mind as the ball bounces. Yeah.
What about Timo Werner's all-round game? I mean, he's settled in pretty well in England, hasn't he? Today was a bit more erratic, wasn't it?
I don't know, I feel like he suits the English game so well, though, because he plays on the break, and it suits a lot of English clubs play that way, especially quick counter-attacks. And as you see for the goal, what she sets up for Tammy, his break was unbelievable. Me personally, I would have fouled him or tried to.
But here, he should have laid this one on a plate as well, should he? So 2 or 3 times you think he's going to score or he's going to assist?
That kind of, when he's done that, that's kind of made my decision to feel more that he's more of a winger than an attacker.
You think so? You think he's better off than through the middle?
Yeah, because most strikers, and Benny will tell you, the chances of Benny passing that ball there when he's already opened up is very slim. It has to be a clear pass for a tap-in, basically. Otherwise, he's taking a shot.
Yeah, I don't think he's a natural goal scorer, which is why I think he's probably best coming off the left.
You don't think he's a natural goal scorer?
No, I think he'll score a lot of goals because of his movement and his pace. But as far as being a natural goal scorer, and when he gets in them type of positions, I'm not quite sure that's him. But listen, he does so much good stuff for the team that I still think he's going to get his goals, and people like Tammy Abraham will benefit from the way Werner plays.
Here we go then. We've got one former Tottenham and one former Chelsea. Who has the greater title chance this season of these 2 big London clubs?
For me, it's not biased.
Let's have a think about that one. Yeah.
It's not biased, but I think I have to say Chelsea. I think that especially in attack, well, even in defence now, because I think they've got 5 fit centre-backs at the minute. And in attack, they've got like 6 or 7 attackers, which if they get 3 injuries, they can replace, and it doesn't really change much in attack for them. They're still going to be as frightening and deadly as they are now.
Listen, I'm leaning towards Chelsea still, because I think, as Sean was saying, I think firepower, I think they've got a lot of it. But I think Mourinho is the key. He knows how to get it done. He's been there. He's done it before. Frank, obviously, he's not been managing long. I think 3 seasons, I think. So I just think Mourinho might just give Spurs the edge. But if I had to put my money on one of the 2,
but Chelsea have the deepest squad, maybe as Sean's point.
But Mourinho just knows how to get the job done. And even if it means playing like they did today, which is not particularly pretty, but they win 2-0, then I think they'll go on and do that.